Wednesday's verdict sent shockwaves throughout the nation and the entertainment world. For more on what happens next for Combs, we're joined by Tracy Pearson, attorney and legal expert. Welcome.
Thank you, Mary. It's great to be with you this morning from Los Angeles.
And let's talk about Combs being denied bond. Plenty of legal experts thought he'd be released on Wednesday while awaiting sentencing. What was your reaction to the judge's decision on that?
I wasn't surprised at all, and here's why. We saw the video of a lot of violence that occurred in his relationship with one of the survivors. And I think that it's really important for the community to understand that safety is of paramount importance for a judge, and this person was a witness.
To the verdict, Combs was acquitted on the most serious charges, convicted on those prostitution-related charges. Those two charges carry up to 20 years, but even the prosecutors believe that the most Combs might get would be 63 months or a little over 5 years. Where do you see the sentence falling?
I do not predict sentences. What I will tell you is that sentencing is controlled by federal sentencing guidelines, which is a very thick book. And basically what it comes down to is there's a base level sentence, and then there can be enhancements. And the enhancements that we're looking at here are multiple victims. We're looking at violence. We're looking at acquitted conduct that may have bearing on the underlying charges that he was convicted of. So there is, based on my research, the judge tends to be somewhat not lenient when it comes to sex crimes. And I think that this is one of those situations where we might see a little bit more of a stringent sentence, but I don't predict. If I could, I'd win the lottery.
In your view, was it an overreach for the prosecution to pursue a RICO charge against Combs? That seemed to be the toughest count for the jury to agree on.
It was a very difficult count. RICO charges are notoriously difficult, and that has to do with the fact that you have to prove that he used his celebrity status to engage in basically a criminal enterprise. And there were a lot of middlemen involved in the efforts of these parties. And so I think that it was probably a bit of an overreach for the prosecutors, because you'd have to have really very direct evidence that tied it to it. And how do you use your celebrity status?
Can you give us a timeline of what to expect over the next few weeks and few months going forward?
Absolutely. So his sentencing is in October. I believe it's October 3rd at 10 a.m. in front of the same judge. And so what's going to happen is a sentencing or pre-sentencing report is going to be created. It's a confidential report that gets filed, and it's going to involve all sorts of information about his background. And there's going to be a recommendation made. There's going to be a recommendation made, obviously, by prosecutors, as you mentioned, and defense counsel will make a recommendation. This judge does not necessarily go with the recommendations that people make. Very independent, a younger judge in the sense of being on the bench for less time, and tends to take each case as it comes.
Tracy Pearson, attorney and legal expert, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And you can find much more on the verdict, including a detailed timeline on the case. That's on our website, cbsnewyork.com.